Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This is your Blue Blood Season 10, Episode 5 reaction. This episode was entitled Excessive Force, and luckily there was not excessive story. There was just the right amount. This was one of the better episodes I think we've had since the premiere.
Yeah, this was great. I really liked this episode.
There was a lot that went on. I mean, we have important character decisions. Someone possibly leaving the show. I mean, we have Eddie going undercover.
That was fun.
That was really, really fun. There was a lot of fun stuff that kind of happened from start to finish throughout here. We are going to break all of it down, but before we go any further, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That's the best way to make sure you don't miss any other updates we have coming your way.
Yep.
All right. What do you think about, let's just start with the news. Do you think we'll see Nicky again before Christmas?
I like to think that this is just Nicky's storyline. I don't want to think that the actress is actually leaving the show. I want to think that this is her storyline and that she will go on this job and she'll battle some different difficulties and she'll end up coming back. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and I mean, as of right now, I mean, we're recording this like 5 or 10 minutes after the episode aired on the East Coast. Sammy Gale may come out and tweet something later or post something saying she's gone, but I feel like it's possible that this is a storyline thing. I think it's also possible that maybe she's got another role or something else that she's going to take on for a little while, so she'll be gone for a few weeks, and then maybe she'll realize that home is where the heart is.
Well, it's kind of a cool idea with this type of show anyways, because it does have a really large cast, and because she's not in every single episode and she doesn't always have the biggest storylines, that if they wanted to be able, almost like they do with Matthew over on Criminal Minds, where he can be gone for a couple episodes because he's doing some other things. This is something that could be happening for her as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like this is something she's willing to commit to at this moment. So, I mean, I don't think she's going to be back next week and be like, hey, guys, I've already come back from this job.
This job fell through and welcome me back.
Yeah, you know what really stinks? My new job. I am here now. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think she'll be gone for a little while, but they didn't kill her off. They didn't send her somewhere to the complete other side of the world. I don't know how she's going to be able to afford a plane ticket back to New York, given the prices of living in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's quite a,
Yeah, that's quite an ambitious place to go with a new job. But
yeah, it is.
I think we'll probably end up seeing her again in some shape or form. But, you know, if not, all the best to Sammy Gale. I mean, it's hard to really blame her being on this show for so many years. Has any one person sat at a dinner table in their life as much as Sammy Gale has on Blue Bloods? Like, just proportionally to how long she's been alive. I mean, at least like Donnie Wahlberg and Tom Selleck, they have a lot of memories before sitting in that chair.
Well, that's why it's nice that when they were having that conversation, the thing that she said that she would want to sort of bring with her to remind her of home was having a Sunday potluck. So
we're all coming right back around. She is paying it forward.
Yes.
I think we'll sort of keep our eyes peeled if anything else happens with Nicky. I mean, we already talked a lot about it in a previous video, so I don't want to spend all the time on it this time. But it seems like this is her decision for now. We'll see if she comes back. I think there's always a spot at the Reagan family dinner table.
Absolutely. We will all welcome her back.
I have a question, though. Should you and I, like, alternate filling in Nikki's chair and, like, you know, don't you want to try some of the food or, like, see what some of the conversation is?
Yes, we could have some of Tom Selleck's avocado. I would like to think that they're at the table.
I didn't even predict that I was, like, setting you up for a Tom Selleck avocado home run after previous videos this season.
I can't help it. I love avocados, and I love Tom Selleck.
Yet here we are. Okay. Let's talk about the Eddie storyline, because you said you really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was cool it's always cool to see people going undercover. People that normally you see on shows that don't go undercover. It's really a fun storyline, and after her wanting to go undercover before and not getting an opportunity, seeing her go undercover was a pretty cool storyline. What I found a little bit interesting about it was that there was no real conversation with her and Jamie about her doing such a dangerous undercover job, but when he did, there was conversation about it, and I understand why, because she was up for the same job. But them being married, I'm kind of surprised she didn't mention it. They are passing ships in the night now, so maybe she didn't have an opportunity. And it wasn't a deep undercover where it went on for a few episodes. And saying that, I actually would have liked to have seen this go on a couple episodes.
This is you pulling these words right out of my mouth.
I feel like this is a storyline that could have played out over it didn't have to go on all season, but even 2 or 3 episodes. It was a really meaty, cool storyline. I liked seeing her undercover, kind of taking the time to really get into it and earn their trust. It felt like she just showed up at the shop and all of a sudden Ruby was her best buddy. And it would have been nice to see Eddie kind of have to work her magic and really get undercover.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I like this story, and yet at the same time, I don't want to say I'm disappointed by it because I enjoyed it for what it was on the show.
Yep.
But it was sort of like, all of it was kind of taken care of rather quickly. And, you know, my first thought was, you know how like Law & Order does things ripped from the headlines?
Yep.
I mean, we're looking at a cult here, one that takes advantage of its members. I don't want to say this was a rip. It was like a tiny tear from the headlines that was going on in this case. I mean, Blue Bloods does that here or there. They're not as topical.
They were tonight, though, because we will get to that. But all of Tom Selleck's or Frank's story tonight and what was going on with Jamie, very, very topical.
This is about as topical as I think Blue Bloods is going to get, and I think that's why it was surprising that they did that in some of the other stuff. But there were some echoes of real life things in Eddie's story. I liked seeing like her and Anthony work on the undercover persona together.
That was fun.
Yeah, well, really, Anthony doing anything is pretty fun. But
yeah, it is. We love Anthony. We're Anthony cheerleaders.
Yes, Team
there.
Anthony. But that was enjoyable. I actually kind of liked that she wasn't really perfect at it, that she screwed up a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you are undercover and it's not something you do every day, I'm pretty sure you would not be 100%, like, right out of the bat. You'd screw up occasionally. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed where this went. Yeah, it was just over too soon.
Yeah, it was over too soon, and it was something I really would have liked to have seen over a couple episodes. I would like to see her really getting into that role and having an opportunity to build these relationships with a Ruby, or even more of learning a relationship with this Daniel character. He's supposed to be the big bad, and we saw him for like a second.
Yeah, it was a very rushed big bad just by nature of how much time they really have. I get it why Blue Bloods is like this. It's just still sometimes you give us some gold, and then you just like take a tiny scoop of gold and you're like, okay, I'm good. And then you leave a big pile of gold unattended moving forward. Speaking of gold that was unattended, by the way, my biggest disappointment in this entire episode, we didn't get to hear Danny Reagan rap.
I knew it, and I was thinking the exact same thing. As soon as he was like, nah, another lifetime, I'm like, really? Donnie? Come on!
It is a part of your same life, Donnie. It was, wait for it, the right stuff for this episode, and we did not get it.
It was the right thing for his character. His character would not have gone on stage and sang, but man, this would have been the episode of a lifetime to see him go on there and do that. It would have been so good.
It was like they walked on the line of having the Blue Bloods musical episode, and then they're like, nah, we're good, and then they just walked in the other direction.
I will say that it was nice that they kind of tipped their hat that Donnie, is a performer and is a singer, and he was doing that before he was doing this, and you're a singer, and that's great, but man, come on!
I know. In between this and like that brief period of time everyone thought the rabbit was Donnie on The Masked Singer, there has been a lot of like singing related Donnie Wahlberg fake outs on television in 2019. But
is.
I mean, it was a fine story for Danny. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like this was the greatest Danny Reagan story I've ever seen. But
no, but they haven't been bringing it really for him. But that one moment, that made it for me.
Yeah. Marked improvement over the past couple of weeks with Danny. I'll at least say that. And now, yes, this is where we get topical. We have everything with Jamie, everything with Frank.
Which is all tied in together with the idea of the court of public opinion and people coming together and making opinions about people before everything is really out there, or things coming out in the media that may or may not be true, and just jumping on things without really figuring out what's going on.
And let me say this. I understand almost every single thing that Jamie Reagan did in this episode, and it's not like I can say that about the decision-making of every character on every TV show ever, but I feel like Jamie, he saw something that looked suspicious. He didn't necessarily know what was going on. He was concerned about it. He tried his best to get to the bottom of it, not have extreme confrontation, but throw some things out there. But he also knew at the same time when to sort of back away a little bit and actually take a harder look at what's really going on.
Yeah, because something like that can ruin somebody's career. And for me, I'm not a detective, I'm not a cop, but just seeing what he saw, I didn't see that there was something sexual or some kind of romantic relationship. They were never touching. They were never really. Didn't feel like there was a connection. It felt like almost like a protector kind of role more so. That's why my first thought was like, is this a niece or somebody's friend's kid or something where he felt a connection to, I need to protect this kid. Someone that he just had to take under his wing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Jamie even felt like it was 100% romantic the whole time either, but I think it's like you said, I think he realized there was something going on there.
And sort of that it is out there right now that this is a thing that's going on where people are in power and taking advantage of people who are not in power. Yeah. So when it's out there and people are talking about it, it's something that would come up, whether it's happening or not. You would at least think about it.
And there's this moment from last week that's really sticking with me. And it's sticking with me in a way that I didn't really expect, and that is Aaron sort of saying to Jamie that he is the most like Frank in the family in a lot of ways, because they sort of see things through the same lens. And when I was watching these scenes between Jamie and Frank, I was like thinking of that the whole time, and it's like, wow, it really makes so much more sense to me now that the two of them are talking about all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that standpoint of things. The Frank story itself, though, I couldn't really get myself that into it in terms of, like, there was just so much other good stuff, and it's not like what was happening there wasn't important. I just feel like I've seen this story before with Frank.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this story before with Frank as well, but I appreciated it and I liked it because it tied into what was going on with Jamie. And again, that, public opinion and the court of public opinion and what's happening with everyone, and taking different steps where Frank decided to go and file a report and Jamie took another path, and they were able to get to different places. And that was neat. It was kind of cool to see these two trains going at the same on the same track, but taking a different direction at some point.
Yeah, and I'll give you a quick little couple teasers of what's coming up next on Blue Bloods as we wrap up this video. We have episode 6 that is airing very soon. No hiatus for Blue Bloods. We're diving right back in with another new episode, and this one I think is going to have some issues that are, at least I think, going to be reasonably relatable to people out there, as Frank is going to be dealing with some issues related to a pension and something that is going on when it comes to that. And it's something that I think, a lot of people out there go through. You don't want to lose your pension. And, after serving as a cop especially, you've lived this whole time almost dying on the force.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your pension.
No, you want to make sure that you're properly taken care of on the other side of everything you're dealing with. So I think that's going to be, one of the bigger stories within this episode. But then also with Danny, I think you are going to see potentially one of the crazier Danny Reagan stories that we've had coming up where there's going to be some big twists in it. You saw a shocked Frank expression in the promo.
It takes a lot to shock Frank.
Yeah, he seemed like I think he said something like, oh my. And it was just
and he's seen it all.
Yeah, like Tom Selleck got very close to going full George Takei with his oh my, I think at the end of the promo.
It's like something happened to his avocado trees.
Yeah, what happened? But no, I think...
What?
I'm feeling reasonably confident we're going to have something good for Danny Reagan next week, so fingers crossed with that. But now, we want to know from you guys, what did you enjoy the most about Blue Bloods, Season 10, Episode 5? Give us your thoughts, everything you thought about this, and if you want to see Nicky again, share in the comments, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.